Good day, YouTube, and today I'm going to make a video about why you should own a Glock 19. Now, you probably notice I'm standing in front of a pair of Mustangs. Now, I want to draw a comparison here. Talk about something that most everybody can associate with, even if you don't know guns. It's probably cars. Okay, the Ford Mustang. A few things I want to point out about it. Anywhere you drive, almost any day, you'll see Mustangs. They're out there. And if you're an owner of one of these cars, if you know about them, you can do most anything. I mean, if you don't like these headlights, if you don't like this grille, you can replace that. There's aftermarket things out there for galore. If you don't like these wheels, you can replace them. If you're not happy with the performance, and hey, a lot of Chevy guys aren't, there's a lot of companies that make a lot of stuff that you can put under the hood, under the suspension, in the interior, whatever you want to make this car perform, handle whatever you want, the way you want it to do it. Not a lot of cars out there can do that. For example, you know, your BMWs, your Mercedes, your Toyotas. There's not that much performance parts out there, but for a Mustang, there are. Another thing you may notice, you know, the fit and finish isn't the tightest. It's probably not the best looking car in the world, I'll be honest. I mean, there's more exotic, there's better looking stuff out there. Sometimes it's more expensive, sometimes comparable price. And I want to draw a comparison to that. We're going to walk over here to our gun range. Now, just compare this to your Glock 19. Your Glock 19 is probably not the best looking gun there is. I mean, it's been checked, don't worry. So, no magazine. Now, it's probably not the best looking gun. It's kind of boxy. The fit and finish on it. I've always thought it kind of had awkwardness, that there was this little gap. I've tried to shoot it on camera before, it doesn't work. Is that there's this awkward gap. It's like the frame connects to the front and back better than it does anywhere else. The tolerances always seemed a little loose. They're plastic. They're not the best looking gun. But like a Mustang, if you're not happy with your Glock, you can do something about it. Take that trigger. A lot of people say, oh, clunky trigger. There's ghost triggers out there. Almost anybody knows how to work on one. They're easy to work on. You can watch videos and do it yourself. You can replace that trigger. I was not happy with Glock's factory sights. I replaced them. These are the True Glow sights. I would not recommend those in particular. But there's a lot of sights out there that are very good for a Glock, and they're cheap. All right. Now, walking over here to this table, you know, let's say you go to a gun show. I was at a gun show recently, and I picked up a Walther PPQ. Great gun. Now, that has Tritium HD night sights. If you're into the night sight thing, I'd recommend those over your True Glows at this present time. I bought the gun. I'm walking around. I want a holster. I walk up to 8 different guys who have holsters. Well, we got generic holster and we got Glock holsters. You know, I go up to call, hey, anybody got night sights for a Walther PPQ? Well, we got them for the Glocks. And that's how the story goes. You want magazines? Well, we got them for the Glocks. All right, and that's the story you're going to run up against if you go out and buy a gun. When you buy one of these Glocks, for one, the factory magazines are out there and they're cheap. I don't know why anybody would ever buy the Pro Mag versions, because the factory Glock mags, you can pick them up for under 20 bucks. And speaking of that, let's say you decide you don't like this barrel. On that Walther, there's companies that make barrels. You're going to pay 300 bucks or more for them, okay? Now let's say this Glock, you decide, you know what? This is a Springfield ways guy taking apart the Glock. Some guys like to pop the barrel back or pop the thing back and then they play around. I always set it all the way back. That's old Springfield guy's way of doing it. I can set this out easily. Now, let me get another part out here. Hold on. I don't have it sitting on top. I gotta get into my box. Look at there. Another barrel. The brand of that slips me about a Scooby-Doo brand. I don't know what that is. Lone Wolf, that sound right to anybody? Maybe Lone Wolf? I picked this up for about 125 bucks. You will not pick up another barrel for another gun for 125 bucks. But for a Glock, you will. And if you're not happy with Scooby-Doo, Lone Wolf, whatever this thing is, Barstow, Spring Lake, I mean, everybody who makes a barrel, quite one slide in there, anybody who makes a barrel will make one for a Glock. Maybe this recoil spring. I've never replaced a recoil spring, but they're out there, okay? And then one day you may realize, wow, I want to get in a shooting competition. Well, you can get your sights. They actually make any kind of sights you want for them. You can get barrels. You can get recoil springs. You can replace the trigger. You see, I've got this little grip. I never liked how a Glock felt. They're very unergonomic guns to me. I always had this grip and some Glock tape on there. And then you put that back together. And you may one day say, you know what, I want a suppressor. Buddy, if you want a suppressor, a Glock is one of the best hosts there is for a suppressor. Now that Walther's a good host too, don't get me wrong. But a Glock is a great host. They are excellent. And for 125 bucks plus your suppressor, voila, you've got a suppressed gun. Now, you may not be a very good shot. Some people aren't. I guess I'm okay at it. Well, you know what? Glock's got you covered on that end too with the Glock 19, because you can buy a 33 round mag. I don't know of any other pistol that makes a 33 round magazine for their gun from the factory. Walter, there's not even such a thing. So I had a Springfield at one time. You could pick up a Springfield 32 round mag from Pro Mag, but that thing was nothing but trouble. This magazine is very, very reliable. Works on a Glock, made by Glock. It's affordable. You can pick these up for like 35 bucks. Now, as far as functionality, well, I mean, you can load that up. You can have a ton of fun right there. And there you go. But there, like I said, a great gun, available parts, and they're cheap. Kind of like your Mustang. The Mustang is cheap. It's easy to modify. It's easy to build up. And just like that, your Glock is the same way. It's the Ford Mustang of the gun world. Easy to modify, cheap to modify. Everybody in the world knows how to work on one. If you're scared to work on it, don't worry. There's probably a gunsmith within 20 miles of you, 50 miles of you, that can work on this Glock for you. And you'll have a great time. Holsters, you want to get into concealed carry? Glock 19, you know, when we started this video, this gun was on my side. If you don't like carrying it there, any style of holster that you would want, that you would ever want to carry, you can get for a Glock 19. It's about the perfect size to carry. Some people may say it's a little big, but it's easy to hide. I mean, that holster right there, you can tuck your shirt in around it. If you don't want to carry it there, there's all kinds of ways to carry it. And the holsters are out there, and they're cheap. They're cheap, that's the thing. And they're out there. You go to the gun show and you say, hey, I want a holster for a Glock. No problem. I want a holster for a Walter PPQ. Oh, there's a problem. So that's why I say that, especially if you're getting into guns, you probably ought to consider a Glock 19. It's just a great gun to have. Not my favorite, but is a good one to have. Thank you very much for watching.